Mesdames et messieurs, merci d'accueillir Harrison Ford, James Mangold et toute l'équipe de Indiana Jones
Ford and the
et le
team for
cadran de la
Indiana
destinée.
Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Welcome, welcome. Press conference room. Let me introduce you all around this table. We're going to start with the producers. Over there, we have, at the end of the table, Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy. Le local de l'étape, donc Ethann Isidore. Next to him, we have Phoebe Waterbridge. Next to me, we have Shaunette Renée Wilson. Boyd Holbrook. Matt Mikkelsen. Harrison Ford. And Monsieur le réalisateur, James Mangold. Okay, we're going to start talking about the movie in a minute, but Harrison, I want to ask you something, because it was very touching seeing you on stage yesterday, and you seemed very, very moved. So I wonder, what was the feeling? What at this time, at this moment? What?
It was indescribable. I felt I can't even tell you. I mean, it's just extraordinary to see a kind of relic, your life, as it passes by. But the warmth of this place, the warmth of this place, the sense of community, the welcome is unimaginable, and it makes me feel good.
All right, let's start with the film. I mean, talk about difficult shoes to fit. I mean, this is after Steven, you have to find the right director. James doing a terrific job on this film. And the question is for you, the producer, Frank, Kathleen. How did you know that James was a right fit for Indy?
Well, first of all, he's a consummate filmmaker, and he loves cinema. And that has been very clear in every single moment. And I think every bit of this experience has been watching Jim actually take from the world of cinema and create something that is not just what we had done with Indiana Jones, but it walks this fine line of stepping into 2023 with something that we created in the late 70s. And that's an incredible thing to do, and I think that can only be done by somebody who truly loves film. And that's
Frank?
Jim.
Well said. Yes, I have to agree. And what I loved about working with Jim is that he's such a collaborator, and he's a family man. And we like to have our movies feel like a family, and Jim stepped right into that role, and sort of as the father figure, but also listening to all of us, and there was a lot of love and laughter on the set, and so he just feels like exactly the right person to have done this.
And James, was there any hesitation? Did you want to do it right away?
There was hesitation because of, obviously, it's an awesome responsibility, and also you understand that there's so many expectations upon a film like this that you can only you'll only achieve some of them, because there's just so many expectations. Everyone has their own version, their own dear version of Indiana Jones, and there's no way you're ever going to please everyone. But you also have the other hesitation was that it was such a legendary crew of the greatest of film producing, acting, directing, coming to me, scoring, that joining in was trying to understand in the most honest way that I could make a movie that also felt like mine. That was not just I was coming in to kind of fill a gap, but also to come up with a story. And like Frank said, I walked into this wonderful family. That was the greatest reason for doing the movie for me. You know, I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark when I was 17 years old in an upstate New York mall on opening day. And it's one of the reasons I'm a movie director. And so to find myself 3 years ago facing Stephen and Kathy and Frank and Harrison and being invited to join them is kind of beyond any dream I ever had. On the most selfish level, just to collaborate with these people who are my heroes.
It's one of the reasons why you're a movie director, but I think I'm speaking to the voice of everybody here. It's one of the reasons why we are movie lovers, why we love movie. I mean, we all know the movies very well. So it's a question for all the actors. How is it to be entering something that is way more than a franchise, which is, I don't know, like a myth, a mythology, I don't know how you want to call it. It's way more than just a movie franchise. So how is it entering this universe? I don't know, want to start? Phoebe?
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
It's extraordinary because it's an adventure in of itself coming into something like this. And but the incredible thing is once you've got a wonderful script, the magnitude of what came before sort of can sit to the side for a moment because it's very nerve-wracking coming into something that is so adored, and there's something very heartening when you have an incredible team who care about the story and the characters so much that it's about creating a new journey while serving everything that people loved before about the movie. And the moment I'd spoken to Kathy and Jim about what they wanted to do and how profound they wanted this film to be, as well as how fun and adventurous, it just became a very exciting challenge. And it's only really now that I remember again what a huge franchise this is. And so that's all coming back up for me now. But yeah, it's really about being part of this gang, which is calming.
Shaunette?
I mean, this movie talks so much about time and how we deal with time and how we deal with the passing of time and where we are now, the present and the past. And I'm just so overjoyed to have made my imprint on our history and our time in our cinema. Indiana Jones was before my time, but it was still a crucial part of my upbringing and my introduction to American culture. I'm an immigrant. I was born in another country, came to the States when I was 2, and we watched Indiana Jones growing up. So yeah, I'm just overjoyed, truly.
Ethann?
Well, it's an amazing feeling to be able to be part of this amazing adventure. And I think like everyone else, I grew up watching these movies, and I'm really happy to be part of it. And I remember watching these movies every weekend with my parents, and now I'm in this movie franchise with Harrison Ford and Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Matt Mikkelsen and this amazing cast crew and James Mangold.
Oh boy.
Careful, this is contagious.
Yeah, it's very contagious. It is that feeling. I feel like a kid being in this film. It's incredibly surreal to watch a movie as a child, and this is the movie that makes you love movies and want to watch more movies, and now somehow you're a part of this incredible team of people to make this film. And I knew that when Jim gave me a call, it would be an incredible journey. He is the most passionate person I've ever been able to work with. He said it was a small part. I said, okay, I'll read it in 5 or 10 pages in. Way before my character is even introduced, I said, okay, yeah, this is going to be Indiana Jones. I'm going to be in an Indiana Jones movie. It's incredible. It's an incredible feeling.
Have you met?
Me? Yeah, okay, well, 30 years before I was born, the first film came out. I was 15. Got you? Did I get it? I was 15 when I watched it. I rented a movie box, 5 films, and I think that was the 3rd film we watched, and it blew us away. And we watched it again and again, me and my brother. And I think what these films, I mean, they're legendary for a reason. We all wanted to be, this is way before I wanted to be an actor, but I wanted to be Indiana Jones. I wanted to be him, right? And I think that impact was all over the world. We talked about it yesterday. It's like there are franchises that people kind of like, and some people watch them, some are very much watched, but this one everybody loves. Everyone loves this. And there's a reason for it, because there's a charm in the film, there's a charm in the character. This is a flawed man, he lies, he steals, we want to be like him. And he's charming, you know. Yeah, a lot of my colleagues, especially directors, they watched that film, and that's when they made their mind up they wanted to be directors. And I'm super proud of being part of it.
All right, we're going to start with questioning from the floor. Gentleman over there.
Good afternoon, Peter Howell from the Toronto Star newspaper. Question for Harrison Ford. Harrison, great to see you back in the saddle. I know it was a long process getting a script you were happy with. Could you share with us some of your thoughts about what you wanted Indiana to do in this finale, and more importantly, what you didn't want to see him do in this finale?
That's too hard a question. I hadn't, I'm sorry, could you just give me a review of the question?
The question is,
We couldn't hear it.
I'm not serious.
what did you want to see Indiana Jones do in this film?
I wanted to
and what
see a
you
good
didn't
movie.
want?
I wanted to see a good movie. I wanted to see a completion of the 5 films. I wanted to round out the story. I wanted to see this man who depended so much on his youth and the vigor of youth. I wanted to see the weight of life on him. I wanted to see him require reinvention, support, and I wanted him to have a relationship that was not a kind of flirty movie relationship. I wanted him to have a deep relationship with somebody, and I wanted to work with. I wanted to work with Jim, which was proposed at a certain point, and I cannot have been better served with a script, with the kind of actors that we have been lucky enough to get, with the passion and the skill that Jim has brought to it, that John Williams has brought to it. Everything has come together to support me in my old age. And I love the work. So I just want to work. And I want to tell stories, good stories. And I have been so lucky in my life to have that opportunity. Thank you.
Can I add something to what you're saying?
Of course.
That when Harrison and I first talked, and this is trying to zero in on Peter's question a little more, is that I think one of the great things about working with Harrison is you realize leading man, star, legend, whatever, he's an actor. And he's always looking for what he's going to play. And I think that when we spoke, what he was looking for in the script was, why does this movie exist besides all the obvious business reasons for the movie to exist? What are we going to explore, dig up, not only in the ground, but in character, that makes it worth doing as an artist? And I think that was really what excited me more than anything, because if you have someone like this with that kind of mandate and question, that's a huge opportunity as a dramatist. That's all you ever want, is someone asking you to ask questions as opposed to just give pat answers. And that was the main reason I jumped in, was this kind of artistic invitation I felt from Harrison.
Thank you.
Rodrigo, stand up so we can see your T-shirt. There you go.
Rodrigo Fonseca from Brazil, from G-Show. It's a question to Mr. Mangold and to Mr. Ford. I think beyond being an amazing adventure, this film is also a love letter to science, especially due to a line. It's not magic, it's math. Archimedes was not a magician, he was a math guy. I would like to ask you, where in the making of this film it was math and where it was magic? Which were the most amazing magical moments you had doing it? Thank you very much, and thank you for existing.
Thank you for that question. I think that you don't want to separate the myth and the magic. They belong in the same box. There's a little myth, there's a little magic, but there's all of what's planned, and then when it's peopled, excuse me, these people, it becomes real. It becomes real. So you want the support of all of those elements of the story. And it takes a little math, but they bring the magic because the story supports their characters, because the alliance between character and story is observed from the very beginning, and it's understood that the character supports the story, and the story supports the character. It's a knit. It's fucking magic when it works. And if it doesn't work, it's a nightmare. So there's magic here. And it comes from the collaboration, from the knit of everybody's ambition, and what they're willing to put into it. And I've never seen actors give as much to each other. Thank you.
Tiziana Arico from the Austrian Television, the ORF, Tiziana Arico from the Austrian Television. So this is a question for Harrison Ford. After all these years, so why do you feel that now is the right time to let Indy go? Or maybe you are not letting him go?
Is it not evident? I need to sit down and rest a little bit, you know? But I love the reason I love to work, and I love this character, and I love what it brought into my life, and that's all I can say. Thank you for the question.
Hi, I'm Bertina from Amsterdam for Films and Stars. I have a question for James, and maybe a little bit for Phoebe as well, because we've heard wonderful script, good story, everything. There's a spotlight on the writer's strike at the moment, of course. And I was just wondering, the first draft of the script for a movie like this, how much was there left in the final draft? Thank you.
Well, when I came on, I wrote a kind of story document that was kind of that traced what I kind of had in mind after talking with Harrison and kind of thinking about what could be, and talking to Kathy and Frank and Stephen, and I had an idea about, you know, there were scripts and material that existed that had different adventures for Indy, but I didn't feel like there was something thematically holding it together. The why now, for me, was not answered. Why is this movie happening now, at this point in his life? And And that's where the Antikythera and the kind of idea of time, and time not merely in terms of the artifact, but also as a theme for all the characters in the movie are wrestling with regrets and past and kind of what's behind them and what's ahead of them. And so I tried to cobble out a document that kind of encapsulated that, and then Jez and John Henry Butterworth joined me, and over the next year and a half we hammered out so many partials, and I don't even know when a draft is a draft. We just keep writing and writing and getting reactions from people and trying to get to the end. In terms of the WGA, I'm not sure what the question is. Of course, we're not writing now, but but it was, you know, no movie happens without a great script, and no great script happens without writers, and writers are often, because they're first in the process, they're often also first to be forgotten, and I think that is true in so many parts of the business. So I support them in their struggle to get what could be fair for everybody.
I think, Chaz, you have a question?
Thank you. My name is Chaz Ebert from Chicago Sun-Times and RogerEbert.com. My question is for Mr. Ford. You've been rather reflective here at the festival. You've been very blessed over your career to have one of the most successful careers in the industry. Is there something, any role that you've regretted not taking, or is there something that you're really looking forward to doing? I know that you're doing the series as a psychologist. Are you going to be doing more of that or more acting? And the question is also for Mads Mikkelsen, because he's also been blessed with many roles, both in series and in movies. Thank you.
Yeah. I can answer very simply, and then Mads can belabor the point. I love Shrinking. I love doing comedy. I'm going to do another season of Shrinking. I'm also lucky enough that 1923 has been picked up again, so I get to do another season of that. And then, what was the thing?
The regrets. Do you have any regrets of part that you didn't take?
Nah, no. You know, if it works, if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, there's a reason for it somewhere, you know? Mads?
I agree. The regrets it's a tricky question, because obviously if there's certain things you turn down and it turned out to be a huge success, is that what you meant? And but I've never experienced that. I didn't get the offer in the beginning. So no, I don't think so. I mean, the things that have gone wrong or slightly wrong or well, they're all the stepping stones towards something that will become your career eventually. I mean, without them, you wouldn't learn anything, you know. In terms of what I'm going to do, I'm going to work with Brian Fuller. I did a TV show with him. He's going to do his first feature film as a director. It's called Dust Bunny. And can I add something else? It's like reflecting on a career that was this long, and it's just like the atmosphere is getting a little. Listen, the first time we had a night shoot on this film, right? We wrapped up at 5 a.m. We were all completely wasted, wanted to go to bed. Harrison picks up his bicycle and goes riding for 50 kilometers, okay? So that was just like, come on, Harrison. He's like, so what are we supposed to do, you know? So I think there's a couple more indies in there.
All right, we have a question over there.
Hi there, it's Vanessa Thorpe from The Guardian in London. It's a question for Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Did it feel like time travel at times, going on that set? And was that one of your biggest struggles with the part, or was it fighting, or perhaps speaking Doric Greek in a couple of lines?
It certainly did feel like travelling back in time, particularly after we had gone back in time to the war in Syracuse. And that was the magic of this, is that there were so many places to visit, you know, physically and also in our imaginations and historically in this film, and that never happens in any film. And it was so committed to, and the worlds that we went into were so real. And when we were sort of on that beach at the end with these incredible soldiers throwing spears at each other, it was quite frightening and very realistic. And that was that was something very unique about this movie. I loved the fighting more than I can possibly describe. I loved the stunts and the action element. I was surprised at how freeing it can be as an actor to just throw yourself at something and to get out of your head sometimes and just jump off a tuk-tuk can be a very useful exercise for an actor. So there are many things that I enjoyed about that. I can't remember if there was something else you asked me. Oh, yes. Yeah, that was really hard. That was very, very hard. I don't really have anything more to say about that, actually, than it was just incredibly hard.
We have a question over there.
Yeah.
Yes, hi, my name is Marcus. I'm from One Press TV from Sweden. I want to ask James Mangold a question. I want to pick up before you were talking about that everybody has their own version of the movie. So with that said, you were coming into a project, there have been some couple movies before. So did you feel an extra sense of responsibility? And did you talk anything to Steven Spielberg before?
Well, the last part is easy to answer, yes. Before, during, and at all stages I talked to Steven. The first part was, did I feel responsibility? Well, you make a movie, you feel a lot of responsibility. You take on a film like this, you're aware of this added level of expectation, that there's so much, that because this is a property that is so dear to so many people, there's a massive amount of emotional attachment and expectation, and none of the the Venn diagram of all the expectations are not on top of each other. There's choices to be made. You can't make them all happen. The only thing I know about making movies, having done it all my life, is that not unlike being on a sports team, if you won a championship last year, you can't get on the field the next year thinking about what you did last year. You have to be on the field with your team and moving the ball toward the goal in that game. And so you have to be meta-aware, obviously, of the franchise, but in the end, you have to make the damn movie, and you have to live inside this picture, and you make your decisions based on what actually the movie starts to tell you. You cast all these wonderful people, you have a script, the movie starts to speak to you every day. You arrive on the set, it tells you what it needs. The actors tell you what they need, but the scenes tell the actors what to do. It's the most wonderful thing making a film, is that at a certain point the film is our boss, and it's really clear what it wants and where it wants to go, and you try and steer it. Just like a game. The game has a direction, and it starts to go in it. You're either going to go with that or you're going to fight it. And if that answers at all your question.
It should. It should. That's a pretty good answer.
Over there.
Hello. Hi, Helen Barlow, Mr. Ford from Australia, from the Australian. I'm over here. Hi. 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 Hi, how are you?
Delight. Thank you.
Look,
Thank you.
I think you're still very hot. And we were stunned to see you take your shirt off in the second scene. I mean, it's just, and you've still got it. I mean, how do you keep fit? And you really, and can you ride a horse?
Can you ride a horse?
What was the last part?
Can you ride a horse? Which you did, right there on screen. Yeah.
Let me tell you, yeah, I can ride a horse. If they let me. Thank you I didn't mean to be cruel. No. I forgot everything up to ride a horse.
Well, she also asked how you stay in shape, but Mads kind of answered that with his Olympian story.
Yeah.
So,
Which is bullshit.
Were you lying?
But very kind.
So you just brought the bike for fun?
There's a partial truth there, but look, I have been I've been blessed with this body. Thanks for noticing.
Tough one to follow. Jason?
How do I follow that up?
Film at 11.
Hi, it's Jason Gorber from thatshelf.com in Canada. This is a film that has destiny in the title. Mr. Ford, originally you were not meant to be this character. Someone else was cast, and you replaced them hypothetically. And here you are, all these years later, in one of your most indelible, immortal performances. I'm wondering if you could talk about the destiny that brought you here, that brought you to Cannes, that brought this character to life, and if everyone else can talk about the role that destiny played in shaping their careers, in bringing the two of you that started collaborating on Raiders of the Lost Ark, and look at the incredible work that you're doing, the studios that you're running, the films that you're producing, the actors that got to be part of this story. I'm wondering if you could talk about destiny, the notion of luck, of privilege, of being in the right position, the right time, at the right time in order to be part of this magical story. Starting with Mr. Ford.
Yeah, man. All true. All true. There's so many people with talents that never get to see the light of day, and that's a terrible shame, because for many of us, we don't find an easy fit, you know? There's something about actors that they can be very unhappy if they can't work. And they can't work unless they're asked to work. Often there are other ways of doing this, but in my case, I had to wait for luck to come along, but during that period of time, I had the opportunity to learn from my experience a bit of craft, because luck will not save the day. There's a craft skill involved in what we do, I think. And the art, which may occasionally show itself in what we do, is a spirit that we all seek, but we know what we're doing is that the satisfaction comes from the work that we do, from the pain that we feel when we disappoint, from the joy that we feel when we're adequate, successful, and so you are in the process of recreating your life, or in your imagination at least, through the progress of your personal history. Yeah? My luck has been to work with incredibly talented people, to find my way into this crowd of geniuses and not get my ass kicked out when I didn't do as well as I wanted to. But I was allowed to continue, and I'm apparently still got a chance to work, and I want that. I want that in my life. I need that challenge. Yeah. Thank you.
What was the feeling when you saw yourself as a young man in the first sequence of the film? And the second part of the question is, does that open possibilities of seeing the young Indiana Jones in other movies afterwards?
No.
You got the answer from the right person. But look at it. The technology has evolved, or this iteration of that technology has evolved to the point where it, to me, seems very realistic. And I know that is my face. It's not a kind of Photoshop magic. That's what I looked like 35 years ago, because Lucasfilm has every frame of film that we've made together over all of these years, and this process, this scientific mining of this library, was put to good. It's just a trick unless it's supported by story, and it sticks out like a sore thumb if it's not honest and it's not real. Not real. I'm not talking about visually. I mean emotionally real, and so I think it was used very skillfully and assiduously. So I'm very happy with it. But I don't look back and say, I wish I was that guy again. Because I don't. I'm happy to be, I'm real happy with age. I love being older. It was great to be young. But shit fire, I could be dead. And I'm still working. So. Go figure. Thanks.
Okay, we got a question right here.
Hello, my question is from Georgia. Can you share us very first moment when maybe Mr. James called you and told that, yes, here we go, we are started. How was the first feeling in this first moment? And I'm curious, where is your hat? You have at your home, or it's on some museum, or where is it? Thank you.
I think it's at Sotheby's. We'll earn a lot of money for charity, I hope. No, I do have a hat, but I'm not so nostalgic about that. The experience of making these films is what lives with me, and that I treasure. The stuff is great, but it's not about the stuff. It's about the experience. And what was the other part of the question?
First moment you heard about the first phone call.
Yeah, well, I knew that there was no phone call. There was no phone call. We just, I know James. I was, look, I was delighted. I love his films. I know his films. But I didn't know him as well as I've come to know him. And he is the most generous, most supportive, most disciplined of directors. But the secret for me, the secret to his success is that he never stops. He pours himself into the job, and it's the sweat equity that he puts into these projects that make them live, make them sing. And I was just delighted to, listen. He filled the shoes that Stephen left for us in an extraordinary way. And it was not just filling the shoes. He more than filled the shoes. He made, for me, a beautiful movie.
First row here.
Hi, this is Eric Cohn from IndieWire. I wanted to extend the question about the WGA strike to Kathleen and Frank, since obviously it would be hard to go in production on a movie like this right now, and you have others pending. So how would you like to see that whole situation resolved?
Oh, wow. I would like to see the whole situation resolved by truly being in an environment where people can talk about what are some really complicated issues right now that are affecting the entire industry. But when it comes to acknowledging the importance of writing, I think everybody up here has demonstrated that you can't do any of this without great writing. So all of us who make movies, who create anything on television, I am in full support. I know most people are in full support of the writers getting what they deserve. And I think what's the meta issue here is how is that being impacted by an industry that's really changing? It's in the midst of change, both technologically and just the basic aspects of how we work. And that's going to take time. And I think that's what everybody's getting ready for, is to take the time that's necessary to try to make sure that everybody can articulate what those feelings are and try to arrive at a resolution around alignment.
All right, I only have one last thing to say. Mesdames et messieurs, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good answer.